This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
It's Stacey Cole and Carol Hughes. This is, well, I guess you are filling in for Tony. Just want to make that clear that Tony isn't here right now.
He's
Not
just
that it
on
matters.
vacation.
Yeah, he's on location in the ocean. He's, I was going to say swimming with the fishes, but that doesn't sound right, does it?
No, he actually was, though, yesterday swimming with dolphins. So he literally was swimming with the fishes.
I missed that update. How did I miss that?
I just talked to him the other night, and I'm like, are you doing anything off the boat? What are you doing? And he told me that.
Oh, how cool.
The funny thing is, he and his daughter went on the vacation together, but his daughter is the most independent little friend maker, go-getter kid, and she has already made friends on the ship. So he's once again basically vacationing by himself. His daughter's hanging out. Because it's a Carnival cruise, and they do like some group teen things so you can put your kids in these supervised activities. And she's having the time of her life, and he's like cruising by himself.
Well,
which I think is kind of fun.
It's a time to sit and reflect and
Absolutely.
Reset and all the things you need to do.
Read a book.
Yeah, read up on, well, Bryan Kohberger, who we're going to talk about now.
Yeah.
You know, you are in a different realm in our company. How much do you know about Bryan Kohberger? It's a pretty big story.
Yeah, I know a lot about this, but I haven't been keeping up, the smaller stuff the last several months. But of course, I know about the big event and his arrest and everything. And I have read enough about it that it does look quite damning for him.
It does. And one of the biggest things that has come out in the last week or two is his Amazon history. And it just gives me pause because I take a look at my Amazon history. A lot of it is cat related, supplement related. There's no murder weapons on there. I can tell it. Well, wait a minute. I've got boxing gloves.
I don't have any.
Maybe I do have a few different things on there that look a little sketch, but
I don't have one murder weapon on my Amazon history. I'm trying to think. There's not one thing I think I could use as a murder weapon.
Interesting. I think I've got some things that could be, if something were to happen, they'd go, wait a minute, she was searching for this at this time. Well, some of it's work related, but what we're focusing on today is, I don't know if you remember, Bryan Kohberger said that his cell phone had been pinging, I believe, in the area, basically, where these murders took place. And the excuse that was used was that he was out, he liked to look at the stars. That was a big thing for him. And this past week, I was out looking for the Northern Lights. I live in Wisconsin.
And you got a great picture.
Yeah, they
So
came out.
cool.
It was very brief. But, I'm somebody who watches sky conditions a lot. I am constantly looking at different apps for, what are the sky conditions? What does the aurora look like right now? Is it here? Is it coming? What's the cloud cover like? And I'm looking at the National Weather Service. I'm looking at NOAA. I'm looking at all of these things. And, well, lo and behold, according to records from the National Weather Service, Idaho prosecutors could dismantle Bryan Kohberger's defense because on November 13th, 2022, Kohberger allegedly left his apartment in Pullman, Washington around 4 a.m., drove a short distance, and fatally, allegedly, stabbed 4 University of Idaho students inside their off-campus home. Now, the thing that they're using as an alibi was he was just out for a drive, a late-night cruise, to clear his head and catch some stars. However, the government is now pointing to a cloudy, foggy, and unusually cold morning as evidence that his story doesn't quite match up with the conditions outside.
See? Science.
Science. It's real. And here's the thing. You can go back. There's archives. You know, you can go back
absolutely.
and you can see what conditions are. They keep these records for decades. I've got a friend who, the night her dad died, she said that the Northern Lights were prolific. Like you could see them to the naked eye here in Wisconsin. Well, you can go back and look and see what the KP index is, and anybody who follows the Northern Index or Northern Lights is going to go, yeah, I know what that is. Well, it was an 8 that night, and the scale goes up to 9. So it would make sense that she would see that to the naked eye. Well, these records are all visible. So if you're going to sit there and lie and say, well, I was out looking at the beautiful stars that night, wait a minute, it was overcast. There were no stars. So get your shit together. You know, if you're going to lie, find something that's accurate to claim. I mean, now we've got weather data. We have Amazon records.
What was in his Amazon records? Do you remember off the top of your head?
The knife.
Oh.
The knife sheath that they found. I just, you know, and the other thing that they found 6 hours after the time of the killings is that Kohberger took a selfie in front of an empty shower with a thumbs up. The guy, Robin Dreek, the retired FBI agent, he made a comment that this is the only time we've seen the guy smile, was this selfie that he took. And here's the thing with cell phone selfies, it timestamps it.
Yeah.
So it was 6 hours after the killings took place.
Who takes pictures of themselves by themselves next to their shower with a thumbs up?
Smiling.
Yeah. Why?
You know, unless you're getting ready to post something on a dating site, but women aren't going to look at a picture of a guy in front of a shower in a button-up shirt smiling with a thumbs up and go, yeah, that's the one for me. That's not how it's done. I mean, we know that from what people have said that he's a bit of an awkward duck. I get that. So maybe he doesn't really know how to take selfies, but I think I've got one bathroom selfie of myself, and I had a professional makeup lesson, and the lighting was right in the bathroom, and I just wanted to capture it so that I could recreate it. But don't be taking selfies in the bathroom. That's just gross. Nobody wants to see the shower behind you. Nobody cares. If you're going to take a selfie and post it or do something with it, make it somewhat good, you know?
Right.
There's just a lot here. His attorneys are saying he was out for a drive. And again, looking at the stars, there were no stars to see according to the weather forecast and the weather data. It wasn't even a forecast. It was, these were the conditions we observed. It wasn't somebody saying, I'm guessing this is what it's going to be. No, this is what it was. It's documented. Sorry, Bryan. It doesn't work.
Why wouldn't his defense look at that themselves? You and I could look that up right now. What were weather conditions on September 28th of 2021? We could find that for my location, for your location. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't they have said, you know what, let's double check that before we use it?
I think there's so much data in this case. There are so many things that maybe this one just slipped through the cracks.
It could be.
Like, oh shit.
So
yeah, it was cloudy that night.
Do you think, have they set a date for the trial?
They have. Jury selection is set to begin July 30th. The trial is expected to start August 11th. I have a very weird prediction. I feel like he may just plead out, admit to it, and so that the death penalty is taken off the table.
Oh. Well, and I was going to ask, where will the trial be? Because do they even think they can get an impartial jury in
I doubt it.
That area? So
they're probably going to have to move this case.
That's what I would think.
This is an international case. People are tracking this in the UK. I mean, it's a big case. And now with that selfie coming out, his Amazon purchase history, that it ties him to the K-bar knife and the sheath because he looked it up. Mm-hmm. And the sheath was found under one of the victims with allegedly has his DNA on it. I mean, there's so much pointing to him. I don't know. I just don't know. Something about this just doesn't feel right. And the other thing, the weather station that this data was pulled from is exactly between Kohberger's apartment and the King Road crime scene. So you can't say, well, it was skewed, No, this is almost exactly where it needed to be. And they were reporting fog and reduced visibility. Not enough to cause alerts, but just enough to say that there weren't any stars visible.
Do you think that his defense is throwing out this stuff, kind of seeing where it sticks, and then they're like, okay, we're not using that.
Yeah.
Can't bring that up in trial.
Yep. They're going to throw everything at the wall and see if something sticks.
And kind of doing it now to see what, kind of seeing if they can see a little bit of their hand by showing a little bit of their hand. You know what I mean? And it's like, we'll see what they've got. And, that didn't work. We're not bringing that up in trial.
I think they've got an impossible case on their hands.
I do too.
And they're just doing whatever they can to make it stick.
Hidden Killers Podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers Podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.